For over a decade, I've been quietly prepping, but there's something I rarely share with others in the prepping community. While most preppers are busy hoarding the same rice, beans, and freeze-dried meals from big box stores, I've been stockpiling 11 overlooked foods that almost no one talks about. Here's the kicker. During the last supply chain meltdown, while the usual prepper staples vanished in hours, these 11 items were still sitting untouched on store shelves. One of them, number 7, is hiding in your local Asian market for under $3, while others are spending $30 on less effective options. And number 4, it's been a survival secret for thousands of years, costs next to nothing, and will outlast all of us. When a real crisis hits, the common prepper foods are the first to go, but these 11, they'll still be there. Let's dive in. 1. The unsung hero, flavor-packed bouillon cubes. Let's start with something that might seem mundane at first glance, but is an absolute game changer for any prepper's pantry. Bouillon cubes. I know it doesn't sound exciting, but hear me out. These tiny flavor-packed cubes are worth their weight in gold when it comes to long-term food storage. Last year, I had a conversation with someone who works in food distribution, a guy with over 2 decades of experience in the industry. What he told me completely changed how I view bouillon cubes. During the 2024 supply chain disruptions, when store shelves were being stripped bare of essentials like rice, beans, and canned goods, bouillon cubes remained fully stocked. Not a single shortage. Why? Because most people overlook them, but for preppers, they're a hidden gem. One small cube contains the same flavor and nutrition as 2 cups of broth, yet it takes up almost no space in your stockpile. And the best part? They last for years without losing their flavor. I've got bouillon cubes in my pantry that are over 3 years old, and they still taste as good as the day I bought them. Now think about the reality of living off your stockpile during a crisis. After a week of eating plain rice and beans, morale starts to plummet. The repetitive, bland meals can wear you down mentally. But drop a single bouillon cube into that pot of rice, and suddenly it's a meal your family actually looks forward to eating. It's not just food anymore, it's comfort. I personally keep around 500 cubes in my stockpile, and the cost, less than $30. That's 500 meals transformed from bland survival rations into something flavorful and satisfying. Storage is simple too. I remove the cubes from their cardboard packaging and transfer them into mason jars with silica gel packets to keep moisture at bay. This method ensures they'll outlast even my rice supply. But bouillon cubes aren't just about flavor. In a survival situation, their concentrated sodium and minerals can act as an electrolyte replacement, helping to prevent dehydration. The military has known this for decades, which is why bouillon is a staple in ration packs. And here's the kicker. Nobody is fighting over bouillon cubes during a crisis. That's exactly why they deserve a spot in your hidden stockpile. 2. The nutritional powerhouse, cheesy nutritional yeast. Next up is something that might sound a little unconventional, but it's been a total game changer in my prepping strategy. Nutritional yeast. If you've never heard of it, don't worry, you're not alone. Most preppers haven't, but this overlooked ingredient has earned a permanent place in my pantry. Nutritional yeast is essentially deactivated yeast that has a savory, cheesy flavor. It's packed with B vitamins and is a complete protein, meaning it contains all 9 essential amino acids your body needs. I first discovered nutritional yeast thanks to my neighbor, who went plant-based a few years ago. She kept raving about how versatile and delicious it was, so I decided to give it a try. I sprinkled some on popcorn, and I was hooked. Then I started thinking about its potential as a prepper food, and the more I researched, the more I realized how perfect it is for long-term storage. Not only does it last up to 2 years when stored properly, but it also adds a rich, cheesy flavor to any meal without requiring refrigeration. Here's why this matters. During a power outage last winter, my family and I were eating a lot of rice and canned vegetables from our stockpile. By day 4, everyone was tired of the same bland meals. That's when I started sprinkling nutritional yeast on everything. Rice, veggies, even soups. The cheesy, nutty flavor completely transformed our meals, and my kids actually started asking for seconds. It was a morale booster in the truest sense. But nutritional yeast isn't just about taste, it's a nutritional powerhouse. 2 tablespoons provide 8 grams of complete protein, which is almost as much as an egg. It's also loaded with vitamin B12, which is crucial for brain function and your nervous system. In a survival situation where stress levels are high and nutrition is often lacking, these benefits are invaluable. Storage is a breeze. I keep mine in airtight mason jars in a cool, dark place. No special prep is needed, and it's always ready to use. The best part? Most people have never even heard of it, so it's always available during shortages. I keep about 5 pounds in my stockpile, which cost me around $40. That's a small price to pay for something that boosts nutrition, enhances flavor, and keeps morale high during tough times. 3. The fat-fueled lifesaver, canned coconut milk. The third item on my list is something you've probably walked past 100 times in the grocery store without giving it a second thought. Full-fat canned coconut milk. Not the coconut water or the watered-down beverage versions, but the thick, creamy coconut milk you'll find in the international foods aisle. This is one of the most underrated items you can add to your stockpile. And here's why. In a survival situation, fat is absolutely essential. Your body needs it for energy, absorbing vitamins, maintaining brain function, and even staying warm. Yet most traditional prepper foods are severely lacking in fat. Rice has none. Beans have barely any. Even those expensive freeze-dried meals often strip out most of the fat to extend shelf life. That's where coconut milk comes in. One can contains about 50 grams of healthy fats, making it an incredible source of energy and nutrition. I learned this lesson the hard way during a winter camping trip a few years ago. We were eating the usual survival staples: rice, beans, and canned vegetables. After 3 days in the freezing cold, we were exhausted, mentally foggy, and struggling to stay warm. That's when my buddy, an experienced long-distance hiker, pulled out a can of coconut milk. He heated it up with some rice, and within an hour we all felt like new people. The fat content was exactly what our bodies needed to recover. Coconut milk is also incredibly versatile. You can stir it into soups to boost calories, add it to rice to make it creamy and filling, or even drink it straight for an instant energy boost. Unlike dairy products, it's shelf-stable for years. I've got cans in my pantry that are over 3 years old and they're still perfect. Properly stored, coconut milk can last up to 5 years, which is longer than most canned goods. Here's a pro tip. If you need to stretch a meal further, add coconut milk. A single cup of rice that would normally feed 2 people can easily feed 4 when you mix in half a can of coconut milk. Not only does it increase the calorie count, but it also makes the meal more satisfying. And the cost? Most cans are around $2, and you can often find them for less at Asian markets during sales. Compare that to those pricey emergency fat bars that cost $8 each, and it's clear which option gives you more bang for your buck. I keep about 50 cans in my stockpile, organized by expiration date for easy rotation. I also use them in regular cooking, so nothing goes to waste. During high-stress situations, your body actually needs more fat than usual to support hormone production and nervous system function. Coconut milk delivers that in a shelf-stable, affordable package that most people completely overlook. 4. The survival secret, long-lasting potato flour. Let's talk about a prepper food that's criminally underrated and often overlooked: potato flour. Not to be confused with potato flakes or instant mashed potatoes, this is the real deal, actual potato flour. I stumbled upon it by accident while wandering through a small European grocery store. There it was, sitting on a dusty shelf, completely ignored. Naturally, I was curious, so I did some digging, and what I found blew me away. Potato flour has been a survival staple in Europe for centuries, and for good reason. First, let's talk about its shelf life. When stored properly in an airtight container, potato flour can last up to 10 years. Compare that to regular all-purpose flour, which starts to go bad after just 8 months. That alone makes it a no-brainer for long-term storage. But there's more. Potato flour is naturally gluten-free, which is a game-changer if you or someone in your family has celiac disease or gluten sensitivity. In a crisis, when grocery store shelves are empty, finding gluten-free options will be next to impossible. Nutritionally, potato flour is a powerhouse. It's rich in resistant starch, which feeds the good bacteria in your gut and helps you feel fuller for longer. That feeling of fullness is invaluable when you're rationing food and trying to stretch your supplies. I learned this firsthand during a 3-day power outage last year. With no electricity, I used potato flour to make flatbreads on my camping stove. All it took was some water, a pinch of salt, and 5 minutes on a hot pan. The result? Fresh, warm bread that kept my family satisfied and happy. But the versatility of potato flour doesn't stop there. You can use it to thicken soups, stews, and gravies. Just 1 tablespoon of potato flour does the work of 3 tablespoons of cornstarch. And here's a pro tip. Don't store it in the flimsy bag it comes in. Instead, transfer it to a food-grade bucket with a gamma seal lid and toss in an oxygen absorber. This setup will keep it fresh for years. The best part? Potato flour is incredibly affordable. A 5-pound bag costs around $8, and that's enough to make dozens of meals. Meanwhile, preppers are spending hundreds of dollars on buckets of freeze-dried food that, let's be honest, tastes like cardboard. And because potato flour isn't on most survival food lists, it's almost always available, even during a panic. It's a hidden gem that deserves a spot in every prepper's pantry. 5. The eternal gold, ghee. Next on the list is something that might just be the ultimate prepper food, ghee. If you're not familiar, ghee is clarified butter that has been cooked down to remove all the water and milk solids, leaving behind pure golden fat. And here's the kicker, it doesn't need refrigeration. I've had a jar of ghee sitting in my pantry for 4 years, and it's still as perfect as the day I bought it. The longevity of ghee is almost mythical. In fact, archaeologists in India have found sealed containers of ghee that are over 5,000 years old and still edible. That's not a prepper legend, it's documented history. But what makes ghee so special for preppers? For starters, it's incredibly shelf-stable. Unlike regular butter, which melts and spoils in the heat, ghee can withstand extreme temperatures without going bad. Last summer, a massive heat wave knocked out power in my area for 2 weeks. While my neighbor's butter turned into a rancid puddle, my ghee sat on the counter in 95-degree heat, still golden and ready to use. Ghee is also a nutritional powerhouse. Your body needs fat for energy, brain function, and absorbing vitamins, and most prepper foods are severely lacking in it. Rice has 0 fat and beans have almost none. But just 1 tablespoon of ghee provides pure, concentrated energy. It's the kind of fuel your body craves during high-stress situations. And here's something fascinating. Ghee actually gets better with age. Like a fine wine, its flavor deepens and becomes more aromatic over time. Ancient Ayurvedic texts even mention 100-year-old ghee being used as medicine. I keep 2 types of ghee in my stockpile: regular ghee for everyday cooking and cultured ghee for those moments when morale is low and we need something that feels like a treat. The rich, nutty flavor of cultured ghee is like a little slice of normalcy during a crisis. And the best part? It's incredibly easy to store. Just keep it in its original glass jar at room temperature. No special containers, no oxygen absorbers, nothing. Ghee is also versatile. During a week-long power outage, I transformed plain rice into a restaurant-quality dish by stirring in a tablespoon of ghee and a pinch of salt. The difference was night and day. And while other preppers are spending $30 on freeze-dried butter powder that expires in 2 years, I'm sitting on jars of liquid gold that my grandkids could use. Ghee is the ultimate prepper food, and it's hiding in plain sight at your local grocery store. 6. The ocean's gift, dried seaweed. Rounding out this trio of overlooked prepper foods is something you might not expect: dried seaweed. Before you roll your eyes, let me explain why this humble ingredient deserves a spot in your stockpile. Dried seaweed has been a dietary staple in many cultures for centuries, and for good reason. It's lightweight, nutrient-dense, and incredibly shelf-stable. In fact, Japanese researchers recently discovered dried seaweed in 1,000-year-old temple storage jars. Not only was it still intact, but its nutritional profile was surprisingly robust. One of the most important nutrients in seaweed is iodine, which is critical for thyroid function. Your thyroid controls everything from your metabolism to your energy levels. An iodine deficiency can lead to serious health issues. During a 2-week power outage last winter, my neighbor, a fellow prepper, started experiencing extreme fatigue. A doctor later confirmed it was due to iodine deficiency. Meanwhile, my family was fine, thanks to the dried seaweed I had been rotating into our meals. But iodine isn't the only benefit. Different types of seaweed offer unique nutritional perks. Nori, for example, is packed with protein. Wakame is rich in magnesium, which is essential for energy and mood. And dulse can even be used as a natural salt alternative. The versatility of seaweed is unmatched. I crumble nori sheets into rice while it's cooking, and it adds a subtle, savory flavor that elevates the entire dish. It's like turning survival food into gourmet cuisine. Seaweed is also one of the most environmentally friendly emergency foods you can store. It requires no refrigeration, takes up almost no space, and doesn't strain freshwater supplies like rice or beans. And here's the best part, it's always available. While everyone else is panic buying canned goods and freeze-dried meals, the shelves at Asian markets are fully stocked with every type of seaweed you can imagine. I keep 3 varieties in my stockpile: nori, wakame, and dulce, and it costs me about $45 for a year's supply. That's a fraction of what you'd spend on freeze-dried meals, and the nutritional benefits are far superior. Dried seaweed is the ultimate prepper food: lightweight, nutrient-dense, and always in stock. It's a hidden gem that can make all the difference when times get tough. 7. The hydration hero, chia seeds. Let's dive into a prepper food that's as ancient as it is revolutionary: chia seeds. These tiny, unassuming seeds were so valuable to the Aztecs that they were used as currency. That's right, these weren't just food, they were survival gold. And for modern preppers, chia seeds are nothing short of a miracle. Here's why they're a game changer. Chia seeds are packed with omega-3 fatty acids, and unlike fish oil supplements, they maintain their nutritional value for years. Just 1 teaspoon of chia seeds contains more omega-3s than an entire serving of salmon. But the real magic lies in their ability to absorb water, up to 12 times their weight. This makes them an essential tool for hydration in survival situations. When you eat chia seeds, they form a gel in your stomach, slowing digestion and helping your body retain water. This means you stay full longer and make the most of every calorie you consume. I tested this myself last year. On one day, I ate my usual breakfast of rice and beans and was hungry again in 3 hours. The next day, I added just 1 tablespoon of chia seeds to the same meal, and I stayed full for 7 hours. Imagine the implications in a rationing scenario. By adding chia seeds to your meals, you can stretch your food supply significantly. Chia seeds are also incredibly versatile. You can eat them raw, soak them in water to create a gel, or sprinkle them on anything from oatmeal to rice. They require no cooking, which is a massive advantage in a bug-out situation where resources are limited. And when stored in vacuum-sealed amber glass containers, chia seeds maintain their nutritional value for up to 5 years. I keep 10 pounds of chia seeds in my stockpile, which cost me about $60. That's 25,000 servings of pure nutritional insurance. During a 2-week camping trip last summer, I relied heavily on chia seeds. Mixed into water, oatmeal, or rice, they provided a noticeable energy boost and reduced my overall food consumption. And here's a little-known fact. Chia seeds are a complete protein, containing all 9 essential amino acids. For vegetarian preppers or situations where meat is scarce, this is a critical advantage. Chia seeds are more than just a trendy health food. They're a survival essential. Whether you're looking to stay hydrated, stretch your food supply, or boost your nutrition, these tiny seeds pack a massive punch. 8. The instant comfort premium noodle blocks. Next up is a prepper food that might raise some eyebrows but is an absolute lifesaver in a crisis. High-quality instant noodle blocks from Asian grocery stores. And no, I'm not talking about the cheap 25-cent ramen packs you find at big box stores. I'm talking about the real deal, the kind of instant noodles that locals eat daily. 2 years ago, I decided to do a 30-day test run of my food stockpile. By day 12, I was so sick of rice and beans that I almost gave up. My family was cranky, and morale was at an all-time low. Then I remembered the instant noodle blocks I had picked up from an Asian market. They were a game changer. What sets these noodles apart is their quality. Unlike the flimsy, flavorless noodles in standard ramen packs, these are made from wheat or egg and have actual nutritional value. Some varieties even pack 8 to 10 grams of protein per serving, but the real magic lies in the seasoning packets. These aren't just salt and MSG, they're complex spice blends, dried vegetables, mushroom powder, and genuine soup bases. The flavors are rich, varied, and satisfying. Now let's address the elephant in the room. Are they the healthiest option? Probably not. But here's what most preppers overlook. Morale matters. In a real emergency, when you're eating the same thing day after day, food monotony can take a serious toll on your mental health. Research shows that repetitive meals can lead to decision fatigue and decreased problem-solving abilities. In other words, boring food makes you less effective when you need to be at your best. I keep about 100 blocks of these premium noodles in my secondary storage. They cost me less than $50 total, and each block provides a full meal that takes just 3 minutes to prepare. They require minimal water, which is a huge plus in a survival situation, and the variety of flavors keeps things interesting. Here's my pro tip. Visit your local Asian supermarket and explore their instant noodle section. Look for brands that locals actually buy and avoid anything that requires refrigeration. Store them in their original packaging inside large plastic bins. They stack flat and take up surprisingly little space. During actual shortages, most people don't think to shop at Asian markets, so these shelves are often fully stocked. While others are fighting over canned goods, you'll have a stash of delicious, morale-boosting meals ready to go. 9. The meat alternative, textured vegetable protein, TVP. Finally, let's talk about a protein source that's lightweight, shelf-stable, and incredibly versatile, textured vegetable protein, or TVP. This dehydrated soy protein has been a staple for hikers and survivalists for decades, and for good reason. When rehydrated, it mimics the texture of ground meat, making it a fantastic alternative in a crisis. I first discovered TVP while researching how long-distance hikers manage their protein intake. They can't carry heavy cans of meat, so they rely on TVP. 1 pound of dried TVP rehydrates to about 3 pounds of ground meat, making it an incredibly efficient option. The shelf life is another major advantage. When stored in airtight containers with oxygen absorbers, TVP can last 10 to 15 years, and the protein content is off the charts, about 50 grams per cup. That's more than enough to meet your daily needs in a survival situation. Using TVP is simple. Just soak it in hot water or broth for about 10 minutes and it absorbs the liquid, taking on a meat-like texture. You can then use it in chili, tacos, spaghetti sauce, or any dish that calls for ground meat. The cost is another huge selling point. A 1 pound bag of TVP costs around $6 and makes the equivalent of 3 pounds of ground meat. Compare that to freeze-dried meat, which can cost $20 or more per pouch, and the value is clear. I keep about 20 pounds of TVP in my stockpile, which is the equivalent of 60 pounds of ground meat. It takes up a fraction of the space and costs a fraction of the price. For storage, I transfer it from the original bag into Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers or food-grade buckets. Kept cool and dry, it will outlast most other preps. TVP is a game changer for anyone looking to add a reliable, long-lasting protein source to their stockpile. It's lightweight, affordable, and incredibly versatile, making it a must-have for any serious prepper. 10. The dairy lifeline, properly stored powdered milk. Powdered milk might seem like an old-school prepper staple, but most people don't realize they're storing it wrong. If you're leaving it in the original cardboard box, you're setting yourself up for failure. That packaging is not designed for long-term storage. It lets in moisture and air, which will turn your powdered milk into a clumpy, unusable mess within months. But when stored correctly, powdered milk becomes one of the most versatile and reliable items in your stockpile. Here's the right way to do it. Start by buying powdered milk in bulk. As soon as you bring it home, transfer it into Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers. Seal the bags with an impulse sealer to create an airtight environment. Stored this way, powdered milk can last an incredible 15 to 20 years. That's decades of shelf-stable dairy without the need for refrigeration. Nutritionally, powdered milk is a powerhouse. It's rich in calcium, protein, and vitamin D, making it an essential source of nutrients during a crisis. But its real value lies in its versatility. You can reconstitute it with water for drinking, use it in baking, add it to coffee, or even make yogurt and cheese. During a crisis, when fresh dairy is one of the first things to disappear from store shelves, having powdered milk on hand means you can still enjoy comfort foods like pancakes, muffins, and creamy soups. Here's a pro tip that has worked wonders for my family. Start mixing half powdered milk and half fresh milk in your regular cooking. This helps your family get used to the taste gradually, so when the time comes to rely solely on powdered milk, it won't be a shock to their systems. I keep about 30 pounds of powdered milk in my stockpile, which costs me around $80. That's a small price to pay for decades of reliable dairy. Think about the peace of mind this provides. While others are scrambling to find milk alternatives during a crisis, you'll have a dependable supply ready to go. Powdered milk is more than just a backup. It's a lifeline that ensures you can maintain a sense of normalcy even in the most challenging times. 11. The grain that lasts forever. Hard winter wheat berries. If there's one food that separates serious preppers from casual ones, it's hard winter wheat berries. This is whole, unground wheat in its purest form, and it's the foundation of any long-term food storage plan. When stored properly in food-grade buckets with oxygen absorbers, wheat berries can last 30 years or more. Some even argue they can last indefinitely. Here's why this matters. Regular flour, even when stored in ideal conditions, goes rancid in less than a year. But wheat berries remain fresh for decades because the grain's natural shell protects its nutrients. When you're ready to use them, you simply grind them into fresh flour. The difference is night and day. Freshly ground flour retains all the vitamins, minerals, and healthy fats that store-bought flour loses during months of sitting on shelves. Now you might be thinking, I don't have a grain mill. But here's the good news. A hand-cranked grain mill costs about $60 and is a one-time investment. In a grid-down situation, this simple tool gives you the ability to make fresh bread indefinitely. I keep 200 pounds of hard winter wheat in 5-gallon buckets, which cost me about $70. That's enough to provide my family with fresh flour for over a year. But wheat berries are more than just a source of flour. They're incredibly versatile. You can cook them whole like rice for a chewy, nutritious grain, sprout them for fresh greens in the winter, or even grow wheatgrass for juicing. And let's not forget their calorie density. At about 1,600 calories per pound, wheat berries are one of the most efficient foods you can store. When you're in survival mode and need maximum calories, wheat delivers. Here's a real-world example of their value. During a crisis, when everyone else is fighting over bags of flour that will go bad in months, you'll have decades of fresh flour waiting in your pantry. And because you can grind it as needed, you're not just storing food, you're storing the ability to create food. Hard winter wheat berries are the ultimate prepper staple. They're affordable, versatile, and virtually indestructible when stored correctly. Whether you're making bread, sprouting greens, or simply ensuring your family has a reliable source of calories, wheat berries are a must-have for any serious prepper.